Ferdinand Porsche's surname has been synonymous with the pinnacle of German sports car engineering for decades. Over the last century, Porsche automobile manufacturer has manufactured some of the iconic cars of all time, including the Porsche 911 and 918 Spyder. Porsche's revenue today is around 33.14 billion euros, and it employs over 37,000 people. Compare it with Ferrari, whose revenue is 4.27 billion euros, McLaren Group, whose revenue is around 1 billion euros, and Lamborghini, whose revenue is around $500 million. Not everything is rosy for Porsche. The company's past is filled with dark secrets where the founder Ferdinand Porsche worked with Hitler and helped him design cars that helped Hitler to prolong the war. In return, Ferdinand Porsche got German citizenship and got lots of cash, which helped him design the iconic cars we see today. Want to know the story and dark secrets of Ferdinand Porsche and want to learn how he designed the car, which is loved by many? Watch the full video. We at Business Chronicles tell the stories of extraordinarily successful people. Please subscribe to our channel to help us in making more videos. Ferdinand Porsche was born on 3 September 1875 in Maffersdorf, Bohemia, Austria-Hungary, now Vratislavice nad Nisou, Czech Republic. He was the third child of parents Anna and Anton. His father was a master auto body mechanic, and the boy displayed an aptitude for technology, particularly electricity, from an early age. He attended night school at his local technical college while assisting his father in his mechanical shop during the day. Porsche turned 18 in the year 1893, the year in which he installed an electric lighting system in his parents' house. He moved to Vienna to begin his first job as a mechanic at Verringete Elektrizitats AG Bella Eger, an electrical company in Vienna. He also attended Vienna University of Technology in his free time after work. Surprisingly, although Porsche attended classes, he never completed a formal engineering education. But this doesn't seem to have been a handicap. After 4 years, he had become head of the testing department. Around 1897, Porsche joined Vienna-based coachmaker Jakob Lohner and Company, whose illustrious customers included Emperor Franz Joseph I of Austria and British, Swedish, and Romanian monarchs. The company produced its first vehicle in 1898, and Porsche had engraved P1 on every component to signify that it was his first design. In 1898, Porsche designed the Eger-Lohner aka C2 Phaeton. It looked like a carriage, and its battery-powered electric motors sat inside the front wheel hubs. It weighed 1,800 kilograms thanks to its incredibly heavy lead-acid batteries, and had limited range due to their short life and difficulty climbing hills. Porsche solved this problem with the Lohner Porsche Mixte Hybrid in 1901. It had a Daimler internal combustion engine that powered a generator, which in turn drove the electric motors in the wheel hubs, and it also had a small backup battery. Petroleum electric hybrid vehicles are more common now, but this was the first of them all. Couplings and gears available at the time were not very reliable, so Porsche made it a series hybrid, which is now more commonly found in turbo-electric or diesel-electric railway locomotives. Porsche was drafted into the military in 1902, serving as a chauffeur to Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria, whose later assassination is seen as the catalyst for World War I. Most of the 300 Lohner Porsche chassis sold up to 1906 were two-wheel drive fire engines, buses, and trucks, with either front or rear-wheel drive. A few four-wheel drive buses were manufactured, but no cars. They could reach 56 kilometers per hour, breaking a number of Austrian speed records and producing a winner of the Exelberg Rally in 1901, with Porsche himself at the wheel of a hybrid front-wheel drive vehicle. More speed records followed after it received more powerful engines from Panhard and Daimler. Thanks to his accomplishments, Ferdinand Porsche was recognized as Austria's foremost automotive engineer and was awarded the Potting Prize. Austro-Daimler lured Porsche away to be their chief designer in 1906. His most famous Austro-Daimler design was for the Prince Henry trial in 1910, which was named in honor of Prince Heinrich of Prussia, Wilhelm II's younger brother. The model 2780, which is still better known by its nickname of Prince Henry, developed 85 horsepower, and 3 of the cars took first, second, and third places in the race. Porsche also created a 30 horsepower model called the Maggia. By 1916, Porsche had achieved the position of managing director at the company and was honored in that year by the Vienna University of Technology with an honorary doctorate. He continued to build successful racing cars, and his 1922 design came first in 43 out of 53 races. He departed Austro-Daimler in 1923 after certain disagreements over design. Daimler Motor and Gesellschaft appointed Porsche as its technical director in Stuttgart, and in 1924 he was honored with a second doctorate from the city's technical university for his work at the firm, and later with a professorship. He designed a number of racing cars for the company that dominated the track in the 1920s. Benz NC merged with Daimler Motor and Gesellschaft to create Daimler-Benz in 1926. Their products started to be called Mercedes-Benz. Porsche had ideas for a compact Mercedes-Benz, but the Daimler-Benz board didn't like it, so he migrated to Steyr Automobile in 1929. The Great Depression took hold though, and Porsche was made redundant. Porsche returned to Stuttgart in April 1931 to set up his own motor vehicle design consulting firm. His son-in-law helped with financial backing, and so Ferdinand was able to recruit several former colleagues from the previous companies he had worked for. Their first design project was a car for a company called Wanderer, and more projects followed. As the company gained momentum, Porsche got a loan secured on his life insurance and began working concurrently on a small car concept he had begun at Daimler-Benz. Zundap sponsored the project later on, but interest waned after their success with motorcycles. NSU took over as sponsors, but also fell by the wayside when tooling became prohibitively expensive. With car commissions few and far between during the Depression era, Porsche set up Hochleistungsmotor GmbH, a subsidiary that was a racing car developer, despite having no customers. It produced an experimental mid-engine teardrop-shaped car called the P-Wagon, designed for the 750 kg class. Struggling carmakers formed the Auto Union GmbH in 1932, and Porsche became known to its board of directors. In 1933, Adolf Hitler launched state-sponsored programs to motorize the nation, and Porsche picked up 2 projects through his connections as a result. This paved the way for a decade of government projects including the Elephant Tank Destroyer and the Tiger Tank. Porsche received a contract from Hitler to design a people's car in June 1934. He completed 2 prototypes in 1935, but the car resembled the air-cooled rear-engine designs created by Hans Ledwinka of Tatra, and Porsche was sued for copyright infringement. The German invasion of Czechoslovakia put the brakes on this litigation, but Volkswagen settled several years after the end of World War II. Porsche was praised as a great German engineer, but his Czech background rendered him subhuman in the eyes of Hitler, and he renounced his Czechoslovakian citizenship in 1934. He joined the Nazi Party in 1937 and the SS, whose personnel he was using for driving and security duties in his factory by 1938. By 1942, he had been promoted to the rank of SS Oberfuhrer and had earned medals. Porsche designed the VK4501 heavy tank in 1942, but its complicated drive system meant that it lost out to another design by Henschel, a competitor. 90 already completed chassis were repurposed as self-propelled anti-tank guns and deployed in 1943 as the Panzerjäger Tiger and nicknamed Ferdinand. This model was highly effective when it worked, but often broke down and became stuck, with typical German wartime supply issues making maintenance seriously difficult. Porsche continued with Volkswagen in France as part of war reparations, and he also consulted on the upcoming Renault 4CV. But the head of Renault was Pierre Lafachaux, a wartime resistance leader, so it went nowhere. French authorities arrested Porsche and his son Ferry along with his son-in-law Anton Piech on suspicion of being war criminals due to their association with Hitler. Ferry was released after 6 months, but Ferdinand and Anton remained incarcerated. It transpired that approximately 300 forced laborers were employed in Porsche's factory during the war, and the French government required payment of 1 million francs to release the 2 men. The family eventually raised the money thanks to Ferry's hard work developing a repair business for cars, water pumps, and winches. He also completed a contract for a Grand Prix car which never raced called the Type 360 Cisitalia. The Porsche family returned to Stuttgart in 1949 and Ferry Porsche resurrected the company. It produced 78,000 Porsche 356s, the first car to wear the Porsche badge, over the following 17 years. Ferdinand Porsche received further consulting work from Volkswagen later and ended up in the enviable position of being paid a royalty for every Beetle that was made. Since over 20 million Type 1 VW Beetles were built, this gave him a very comfortable income. Porsche suffered a stroke and died on 30th January 1951. Ferdinand Porsche was born to a family of auto mechanics. His father inspired him to learn early, and he showed passion and aptitude to learn the mechanics and electric components of a car, which enabled him to design one of the best cars in the world. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to watch more videos like